Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing a review of the latest chess opening encyclopedia, that is Practical Chess Openings by Grandmaster Martin Kravtsev. Now, this book has the same name as a book released by Ruben Fine decades ago. The two don't have anything in common except the name, so this is a new one. This is a completely new one, and it was released on July 1st, 2025. So if you're watching this about the same time when I'm posting the video, this just came out. And I'm going to say first of all about the book as an object. Like, it's relatively thick, as you can see. It's 543 pages long. The weight is still okay for me to use as a bedside book, perhaps even. But of course, I have to say I like grabbing even thick books when I'm in bed. So no, that's not saying that much. And compared to fundamental chess openings, the thickness is basically about the same. And also the weight, the material of the pages. I mean the pages have higher quality in fundamental chess openings. The format is basically the same. It's that the double column format, and well, not basically the same. It is the same, but the pages here are of a little bit lower quality than fundamental chess openings. Like, this is a little bit more newspaper-like, but still thicker than a newspaper. Like, still good paper, I think. But yeah, I mean, if this is, I don't know if this is a regular edition that I got. I think it is. I mean, but I mean, could be that I got a mass paperback or something. I have no idea. I mean, honestly, like, I think it's the regular one. But just in case, I mean, I got my copy from A-Books if you want to check that out. And no, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. Like, but that's where I got it. If you want to check out if that's the regular or the paper or the mass paperback or something, like, it is an excellent object. And when it comes to the content, which is what actually matters and probably what you're here for, this book features modern lines. So obviously, Modern Chess Openings was released in 2008, I believe, and Fundamental Chess Openings in 2009. So between that and this, there is a huge leap in terms of the developments of theory. When it comes to the openings. So this will feature stuff that you will see, in games between Fabiano Caruana and Hans Niemann and stuff like that. So if you're like me and you like watching the tournaments and want to, open your opening chess book and figure out what line is being played, then this will do the job. Now, it has the concepts of the openings. It has the ideas, much like you would see in fundamental chess openings. It also explains to you, like both of those other books say as well, like where the names come from, like why is it called Caro-Kann and why is it called Pirtz, things like that. But I mean, more importantly, it has the ideas, like, I mean, the concepts behind the moves. It does have that. And it has a lot more of concrete lines, like John Nunn said in his review of the book, which is what I watched before I got it on YouTube. So it has much more of that of those concrete lines that you wouldn't find in fundamental chess openings. I mean, you would find some lines there, some illustrative lines, but I mean, this one really does a great job of giving you the tangible thing. So there is that. Now, also another thing I like about the author is that he does tell you when something is out of the scope of the book and where you might want to pick up something else in order to dive deeper into certain variations. Like, for instance, when it comes to the King's Indian defense, he will tell you, well, here, I mean, even though he does have coverage of it, and like many pages, but still, like, he tells you, well, we will not give like a super big coverage of this here. There are other works that are focused specifically on that opening that you may want to pick up if you're interested. So he does tell you when something is out of the book's reach. And on that note, he also tells you if you're looking for the answer to the question of why do grandmasters not play a certain variation nowadays, this book will give you that answer. Like if you're wondering why is the King's Indian Defense not played nowadays in the highest level, it's a perfectly good good line, right? I mean, a good defense. Now, if you have that question, they will tell you. Like they tell you, for instance, about that one. They will say, well, there have been developments in theory, and with computer lines and evaluations, we have found that there are many different courses of action by white where black will be suffering. So that's why you will not see this at the highest level. Now, on that note, on what's being played right now, then we do have this. We do have a couple of lines that I looked at. I mean, I will not give you like the lines of the book fully or anything. I will just give you like an overview of something that I took a look at of the Ruy Lopez, for instance. Here, the Berlin defense. I wanted to check specifically about the Berlin defense. What was what it brought here as compared to fundamental chess openings. I expected I expected this to be very different, and I was correct in that assessment. Of course, the Berlin defense and the Berlin Wall were much a thing already in the times of fundamental chess openings. The match between Kasparov and Kramnik had already happened. But for instance, about the move d3, I think this was briefly mentioned in passing. Like they didn't give you any line or anything. They just told you basically this was a move. Now here in this book, they do give you lines. This the so-called anti-Berlin defense. They don't call it anti-Berlin here in the book, but they just mention it as d3, I think. Still, like I mean, they do give you lines about this, for instance. Now about the main move castles after 94, they do mention rook e1 and give you lines about that, because they say, well, in order to avoid the Berlin endgame, white has been trying to go for this, which even though it was one of the two critical attempts even before, theory had always preferred d4 historically. But I mean, seeing that white couldn't get an advantage with d4, now rook e1 has been played a lot, and therefore they do give you lines about that. Of course, they do go into the Berlin endgame here, giving you not just an overview, but also going a little bit into the plans. They do tell you again. The author tells you that the Berlin endgame would warrant another book entirely dedicated to it. So again, he is very honest about what's being covered and what's not, but he does give you an overview of some of the ideas with lines, with specific lines about what you could expect here from this position, and that is great. Like I mean, that's more than you will find in fundamental chess openings. Fundamental chess openings ends the variation a few moves after this, I believe, and yeah, that's one thing that you will find here. Now, when it comes, for instance, to another thing that I found interesting is when it comes to traps that you may find in lines. Let's say that you have an Eidorf here, Fischer Zozin. Let's say that here white castles, and now black plays knight bd7. Now this is a mistake, and there is this sacrifice bishop e6. I already was aware of this, because now the bishop doesn't cover that, the knight just blocked. So this powerful sacrifice is a very topical thing in this opening, in this variation, and I was aware of that. But I find it good that they do mention things such as this one. So they go into they don't just go into the lines, but every now and then they will tell you, like, well, there's this that you need to be aware of, this opening trap here. Or for instance, they also mentioned here that this, sort of a tactic that sometimes gives you a positional advantage in some other cases where you grab the pawn and it looks like you're losing the knight, but actually you have a fork at the end regaining the piece. This in other variations may actually give you a positional advantage. Now here it's not the case. There's queen h5 or bishop g5, and that is mentioned in this book as well. So you see that they give you these punishment of common common traps that you may find in the opening, and that's great. Then another thing about the Caro-Kann, for instance, to give you another example of modern takes that this book has. Now the advanced variation nowadays is like what everyone and their mother is playing. What the grandmaster they are playing, what they are playing it at the amateur level. Everyone is playing this, and of course it's very much engine accepted. Now if you go into if you look for opening courses on Chessable, you're much more likely to find this recommendation than anything else, I think. So it's, for instance, what Greg recommends, and I do believe that it is also what Anish Giri recommends in his E4 course, and and many others, I'm sure. Now, even I think Levi Rosman in his Chesley E4 course, I think he also goes for the advanced. No, I don't think. I know for a fact he does go into the advanced. So now the thing is, this in fundamental chess openings was basically briefly mentioned. Like they said, this variation is actually, even though this move is so natural, this variation is actually brand new. They mentioned it as something surprising. Like, I mean, the theory, for that variation was brand new. Was basically getting started, and of course, therefore, there wasn't much to say at that time. Like, I mean, they do cover it a little bit, but I mean, about c5, for instance, here the Botvinnik Karl's defense. Here they mention they just mention it in passing and say that c5 is a move, but that here black has to be careful not to end up in a French defense a tempo down, because they played c6 and then c5 as opposed to c5 in one go. Now, but still, like that's all they said about that move, and then they went to the main move, bishop f5. In this book, Practical Chess Openings, they do give you some lines here with this variation, and of course they do treat the main move, which is still the main move, and here there's another thing that I was looking for specifically when I grabbed this book, which is h4. They go into this line. Like, this is, as Grandmaster Artur's Nick Shans said in his overview of openings on YouTube, this is what everyone else is, what everyone is playing here, basically. Like, I mean, this became like super popular now, and of course, in the times of fundamental chess openings, it wasn't. So they didn't really give that line or mention it at all. Whereas this book goes into it. So this is basically to give you an overview of what's out there in the book, what to expect. So you expect a deeper analysis in the lines than you will find in fundamental chess openings. Expect a more modern approach. So if you're looking for that latest stuff, then this is great. Like, this is great for me. I love reading about openings, and I love watching the latest tournaments and current events in the chess world. And this book just answers that question: why is this variation not played? For instance, the Italian, like, a lot of players are preferring the Italian nowadays. Why? Because if they go into the Rui Lopez, they might face the dreaded Berlin defense, for instance. So it goes into that. It has complete coverage, I think, of everything that you will that is relevant nowadays, and it just came out. This is from 2025. From this month. I'm recording this as of July 28th. So this came less than a month ago. This was released. So yeah, amazing book. I do recommend it thoroughly, and I have to. And of course, I mean, I'm not sponsored by like Gambit Publications or anyone. So yeah, I'm just recommending you because I do like it. Okay, and compared to modern chess openings, of course, like I mean, yeah, there's modern chess openings. I like it, but I mean, it doesn't hold the candle to this other stuff. Like I mean, even compared to fundamental chess openings, I would very much prefer fundamental chess openings. Why? Because this is basically a compendium of lines. Like I mean, this is a compendium of lines with a little bit of opening ideas and concepts, but not nearly as much as you will find here. Like I mean, here you will find actual explanations of what's going on when they give you said lines, and you know, a lot more about what you would like to know if you're like a beginner intermediate level player. I mean, you need to learn, you know, about the concepts. If you just want lines, then, you know, plug in the engine and start, you know, checking them out, or go to, you know, the database, like the Lichess database, which I have a video about. I will try to link it like here somewhere. And in case you guys want to see how those tools work, or you know, you don't know, I can show you there. And yeah, that's it. So extremely satisfied with the book, and I intend to learn a lot from it. So feel free to let me know in the comments below if what you think, you know, about this review, and if you are planning to pick up this book, if you're reading something else nowadays, if there's an opening chess book that you really like that I didn't mention. Let me know your thoughts about chess openings and the material, the resources that are out there. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.